Hey, hello, everyone. Welcome to our very special Women's History Month interview. My name is Rachel, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with a remarkable woman from BOSU community. Her name's Andrea Simulis, and she is a survivor of a helicopter crash and's been on a recovery journey using BOSU equipment and her mental fortitude to get back to peak fitness. So we're super grateful to have you here today, and we're hoping to provide a message of encouragement to anyone maybe going through a tough injury, just to remind you that you also have the strength to get through anything that is holding you back. So let's go ahead and turn it over to you, Miss Andrea. First and foremost, do you mind taking a moment to share a little bit about yourself and your fitness background?
Absolutely. Well, I'm 42 and a mom of four. I grew up as a competitive swimmer and then transitioned into distance trail running, group fitness classes, and then Pilates. But about 35, I saw my body changing. I looked more skinny, fat, and I never saw the muscle definition that I wanted. So I decided to step out of my comfort zone, take macros seriously, and focus on lifting heavier weights and also doing functional training. And so that's when I really got into BOSU. I loved how you can use your core more dynamically. You can make push-ups harder, and you can make in like high intensity workouts a lot more fun when you're using the BOSU trainer. And then since then, I've helped thousands of women create their own nutrition and fitness program that works for them.
Amazing. I love that. You are a rock star. And then if you don't mind going into what happened with the helicopter accident and the injuries that you sustained, and how you decided to move forward with healing your body.
Absolutely. So it was just over a year ago now. My husband took our first trip away from the children on on a helicopter. It was really exciting yet scary to leave the kids. We were only supposed to be gone for 3 days over Christmas. And then at that time, we left and we were going to take a helicopter tour over the Grand Canyon. I was super excited, never seen the Grand Canyon. It was beautiful to see the Hoover Dam. We landed in the Grand Canyon and toasted to a successful new year. Well, on the way back from the tour, our helicopter made a slow spin in midair and then a faster and faster whipping spins. And at that time, if you feel like you're going to be like, this is the last moments of your life, it becomes very clear at what is truly important in your life. And to me, it became clear is, what am I right with God? And a couple seconds before we hit the ground and crashed, I was able to whisper, help us. I sustained a tibia fracture. My tibia plateau completely shattered. I had ankle injuries. I broke teeth. It was bleeding. And I also had a lacerated spleen. Come to find out, if my spleen had lacerated even more, I would have died on impact. And that's a very humbling thing to think that that would have been my last. I wouldn't have had any other chance. So in the hospital, because of that lacerated spleen, that's what caused a host of complications. So they weren't able to immediately do surgery on my leg. So I was laying in the hospital, which created fracture blistering. By the time they put the plates and screws in my leg, when I woke up, they weren't able to close the wound. And so I had a leg open for 9 days before they closed it under tension. And the skin around the fracture line still died. And then I contracted a muscle and bone infection, which led to a limb-saving surgery later on. And that's why I had an external fixator put on to save my leg. And I had a PICC line for 10 weeks to fight that infection. Then I wore the external fixator for almost 7 months, had that taken off. And that's where we are today, is 5 months after having that fixator off. Still recovering, still healing. The benefit is I don't have anything inside my leg anymore. I'm just continuing to get stronger and working with my permanent limitations now.
Wow. Just wow. Honestly, that is just like such an intense thing to go through. And you are honestly so incredible to be pushing through it and healing yourself on your own. And you're able to walk again now and do most typical things. Is that right?
Yes. So I do have permanent numbness in my leg. I'm not able to feel hot and cold sensations. And then doing certain movements, it creates nerve pressure. So it feels very, very uncomfortable. So like walking, squatting, it creates this nerve sensation, and it's something now it's permanent. I have to deal with that, and I have to work through that. It's like, no, this isn't hurting myself. This is something that I need to push through. So that mental strength to, I've got to keep going despite that.
For sure, for sure. So as far as using the BOSU equipment, what has been like your favorite exercise routine, or I guess more along the lines of what has helped you the most to achieve your ability to use your leg again?
So going from my peak fitness physique before this accident to not being able to walk anymore, can't stand. I couldn't use my leg for 4 months, so I was non-weight bearing. You have to get creative because people think that you can just lay and do nothing, just heal. But that's not the case. Like I needed to move to prevent blood clots. I need to rebuild my strength and safe impact with doctor's approval. That's how your bone gets stronger, is by reusing your leg again. So it's even hard for me to go from a walker to the ground. So that's what was phenomenal about BOSU. I could use the OmniDeck and the wedge and sit on it, do some core movements and do some light band work. And it was really, really motivating and inspiring because I felt like my blood circulating again. I'm like, wow, that gave me hope that I'm going to get through this. Because if you can't even walk anymore and you're used to walking and moving and running all the time, that plays a huge psychological role on your mental health. So the BOSU was incredible at that. And as I transitioned to the fixator on my leg, I was able to use the BOSU again to regain my stability and balance, because mobility is huge and stability is huge, especially if you only have one leg and you're not be able to put it down. That's going to be all stability. And so what really was like a global impact was when I'm using this fixator and wearing my fixator, I was able to combine stability straps with the BOSU and regain my lower body strength, doing squats, doing lunges and things like that. And apparently people don't usually do that with fixators. It's just me putting in the work every single day and thinking about how can I get 1% better today than it was yesterday, and strength builds upon itself.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what would be like the biggest milestone you feel like you overcame, or the biggest like win that you had going through your recovery so far?
Just dealing with like not knowing the outcome. A lot of people want to know the ending. And from a traumatic injury, you don't know the ending. You don't know how it's going to play out. So you have to focus on what can I look at in my life today that will give me hope and positivity beyond my injuries, because the chronic pain will get to you. And not being able to move, but like there's always something joyful and there's always something you can do. So for me, turning to social media and being able to share my stories, share my hardships, it took the focus off me and it put the focus on other people. And it's like, I hear other people's stories. I'm like, wow, how can I even complain when this person, they're 13 surgeries in, I only had 6 surgeries. And then it takes you in that perspective of like, there's a lot of people struggling. And by sharing, we're all helping each other and building a stronger life.
And do you have a message of inspiration that you would like to give to other women that possibly might be going through a tough injury right now to encourage them to keep going?
Absolutely. I would say don't let your perceived obstacles prevent you from becoming your highest self. So many women harbor this fear of not knowing the outcome or failing. And you don't want to be that person that looks back on your life and said, I wish I could have done that. I wish I would have been that woman. So take control. If you have a burning desire in your heart to be better, to be stronger, do it for you. Don't listen to anybody else. You are not a statistic. You can do so much more than you can ever imagine.
Love it. Thank you so much, Andrea, for doing this with us. You being a highlight on our first BOSU interview for Women's History Month is such a pleasure. We're super grateful that you're willing to share your story and get vulnerable with us. Do you mind sharing with everyone where they can find you, maybe your Instagram handle or possibly a website to continue following your journey?
Oh, absolutely. My Instagram handle is Andrea, FIT, and the number 4.
Okay, perfect. And I'll make sure to put that in the description below.
Awesome.
Yay! Well, I hope this was an encouragement to everybody watching. Please look out for new interviews with BOSU Fitness in the future, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.